This chapter directly continues from the previous chapter. Please ensure you follow the web series chronologically. All the links will be provided in the description below. Thank you. The House of Kuru, Part 1, Chapter 9, Amba's Destitution. Amba was filled with happiness and pleasure as her entourage parted from the entourage held by Bhishma. Amba spent the night traveling and finally reached the kingdom of Salva. The modest kingdom of Salva was well adorned but severely lacked the luster and beauty of Kashi like she expected. This did not bother her, however, as she was going to be one with her husband, her lord, her lover. Her body shone like the celestial damsel at the very thought of meeting her lover again. "Halt! Who goes there? How dare you enter the kingdom of Salva?" inquired the gatekeeper as she entered the kingdom of Salva. She was mildly surprised, so she called for the charioteer and asked him to introduce her to the gatekeeper. "Here is the daughter of Kashi, Amba, who insists on the presence of the king," said the charioteer. "Ha ha ha! The wife of Bhishma. What business does she have with the king of Salva?" asked the gatekeeper. The answer shocked Amba. "What reply must I give her, ma'am?" asked the charioteer. Amba was not sure if he was also teasing her or if he genuinely meant it. "Inform the foolish gatekeeper that his life would be at stake should he refuse my demand," said the confident Amba. She did not have time for such foolish games. The gatekeeper was not sure what to do, but decided that a woman with a handful of soldiers was not an immediate threat to the kingdom, and he let her inside. When she reached the king's chambers, she waltzed up to Salva. He did not show any emotion and maintained a somber look. She went up to him and pleasantly hugged him. He shrugged her advances and turned away from her face. "Did I insult you, my darling? Why are you rejecting my love?" she inquired. "That is because there is no love in me for you," retorted Salva. Amba was taken aback. I do not understand, my love. What do you mean?" she spoke again. But nerves were slowly building up on her, and a small tint of fear showed on her forehead. "Did you get off Bhishma's war chariot when I fell to his arrow on my knee and shoulder?" asked Salva. A small pang of guilt hit her stomach. This was true. Everything had happened so quickly she did not understand what was going on. Not until her love fell from his chariot in swoon, but as soon as he did, she snapped back to her senses. Oh, why hadn't she sided with her love as soon as the war begun, she thought. "Madam, please leave this kingdom, as you are no longer my love," said Salva softly. The words struck Amba like arrows on her chest. I don't understand. I promised my soul to you. We are," she stammered. "You are the love of Bhishma. He has won you fair and square in accordance with the rules of the warrior code," said Salva. "Warrior code? What is this nonsense?" blurted out Amba. "This nonsense is the very foundation of kings and warriors," roared Salva, getting angrier by the minute. "The warrior code dictates that when a warrior who steals a princess from a neighboring kingdom, that princess belongs to the warrior. You belong in the arms of Bhishma. You are his, and if I remember well, you were happy to mount his chariot," hissed Salva. The words pained Amba even more, and she desperately wanted to hug her love. After all, it was her fault that he too was in pain. "My love, do not let codes come in between us. I love you and you love me. I know it. Turn around, face me. See my tears and note that no code will change my feelings for you," said the lovely Amba. But Salva was undeterred. "I do not trust you, and neither will the people of my kingdom. I will be seen as a weakling in their eyes, a charity case of Bhishma, something Bhishma donated for my begging. What's the proof that you are not a spy sent by Bhishma himself to undermine my kingdom?" replied Salva, and his curt response hurt Amba. This was all Bhishma's fault. he tore her away from her love, all in the interest of satisfying his selfish desire of protecting the empire of Hastinapura. Self-pity turned into rage and vengeance for Amba. Amba was speechless. She realized that there was a modicum of truth to what Salva was saying. For the warrior class of men, strength and courage is of utmost importance. This was all Bhishma's fault, thought Amba. Sad and dejected, she left for her kingdom, the kingdom of Kasi. Surely the king of Kasi, her father, will shelter her and care for her. She requested Salva to send an escort to her home kingdom, Kasi. Salva quickly arranged the needful, and she was on her way to the kingdom of Kashi. During her journey, she reflected on all the events which occurred over the 3 days. Her abduction by Bhishma, Salva's heroic fight with Bhishma, and now her journey back to the kingdom of Kasi. After a long and uneventful journey, she finally reached the kingdom of Kasi. She entered the kingdom, but the entire atmosphere was very somber and solemn. She rushed up to her father and hugged him. Though he hugged back, there was little love in his hug. She was curious and surprised with this behavior. She narrated all that happened to her, and much to her surprise, her father did not empathize with her. "Dearest daughter, I thought, as the firstborn, you will wield intelligence in your head. Had you informed me of your love early on, I would have personally ensured your betrothal to Salva. Why did you not speak with me? It is not appropriate for those who belong to the class of warriors to keep their love secretive. See what has befallen you now. According to the class of warriors, you must make amends with Bhishma and agree to his desires. That is the correct path for a woman born in our class," said his father. Amba did not know what to do. She felt more and more stupid. Had she informed her father early on, she would have ensured her betrothal and marriage to the king of Saubala. Dejected by everyone, she had no choice but to return to Hastinapura. The king of Kasi had made preparations for her departure to the kingdom of Hastinapura. She thundered onto the grand hall of Hastinapura, where King Vichitravirya was seated beside Bhishma, the lord and regent. "I demand justice," she bellowed with all her might. "A great wrong has been done by the guardian of this empire, and I insist he rights it. He abducted me from my kingdom against my will, and now I am a destitute, abandoned by my lover and by my father. I demand that Bhishma marries me in retribution for his crimes," screeched Amba. "Amba," said Bhishma softly, "I am sworn to celibacy, and I cannot go back on my words. But I do recall you insisted on leaving to marry Salva. Did you not say that he has stolen your heart?" asked Bhishma, with a hint of innocence in his tone. "Do not act coy, Bhishma. Do you not know the way of the warriors?" roared Amba. "Salva is a true prince. His honor will not be tainted by your actions," said Amba. But even as she said it, there was a slight doubt in her words. She didn't fully understand the code of warriors. "The actions of Salva cannot besmirch me, O princess," said Bhishma, quickly taking advantage of Amba's slight confusion. "But I do understand your plight," he continued, "and I want to help you. Why don't you marry the handsome Vichitravirya, son of Shantanu, like your sisters did?" said the shrewd Bhishma. He knew that this would also increase his chances of a quick progeny. Amba paused for a moment and stole a look at Vichitravirya, and this was enough for Bhishma to begin compelling Vichitravirya. "Dear brother, do not take long to think. This is a good proposal. Wed the beautiful Amba. We can arrange the wedding within hours," insisted Bhishma. "I will not wed a woman who was already in love with another man." "No," shouted Vichitravirya. The rejection of her lover, her father, Bhishma, and now this stranger only enraged Amba further. She was dejected, forlorn, and confused. Her dejection turned to rage, and finally she roared loudly and left the throne room and the hall of the palace. She then began wandering. I hope you liked today's episode of The House of Kuru. If you have not already, please subscribe to this channel and like this video so that you will be notified every time a new video is uploaded. Thank you.